If you are willing to spend $2,000 on a gaming PC, you can actually get the best gaming performance out there for 4K resolution. You will be able to get the highest FPS on ultra settings in any game at 4K, which is insane. That's why I will show you a $2,000 gaming system with some alternatives that I will mention in a second. And if you're new to PCs, don't worry, because I will explain everything as simple as possible, as well with the estimated performance. That way you are able to understand what this system is capable of running. You will have all the components plus the alternatives in the video description. That being said, let's start. For the CPU, we have the AMD Ryzen 7 7700X. This 8-core processor is going for $350 and is a beast for gaming. The most important part here is that we get a CPU that will not bottleneck our GPU, and this particular CPU will not bottleneck any high-end GPU, so that's all that we need. And honestly, at this point, getting a better CPU like a Ryzen 9 7900X will not give you any advantage for gaming. Then for the CPU cooler, we have the Thermalright Peerless Assassin 120 white. This whole PC is going to be white with RGB. Now, if you prefer black, I have alternatives for you, so don't worry about that. This CPU cooler is gonna be enough for our Ryzen 7, and most people think that you need a liquid cooler, but in reality, this is all that you're gonna need. If you really value aesthetics and you think liquid coolers are better in that regard, then sure, you can go with a liquid cooler, but I think that it's an overkill and not necessary. For the motherboard, we have the MSI Pro X670P Wi-Fi. This one has Wi-Fi included, supports DDR5, so we get DDR5 memory, and it also has 4 different M.2 slots. This means that down the line, if you need more storage, you can put another Gen 4 SSD. Talking about the memory, we have the Team Group T-Force Delta RGB kit. This is a 32 gigs of RAM kit, 2x16 of DDR5 at 5600 MHz CL36 memory. If you're new to PCs, don't worry about these numbers. This RAM kit is amazing, it looks great, and it fits perfect in our build. Also, for gaming, you can get away with 16 gigs of RAM, but having 32 gigs of RAM will give you a better performance for streaming and content creation. Then for the storage, we have the Corsair MP600 2TB of Gen 4 SSD. This one is ultra fast. For gaming, you can get away with way less speeds for the SSD, but if you're spending $2,000 on a PC, you also want a really fast Gen 4 SSD in case you decide to start doing content creation down the line, or maybe transferring a bunch of heavy files. Then for the graphics card, and the most important part on a gaming system, we have the Radeon RX 7900 XTX. This one is the XFX version. And for you to understand how powerful this GPU is, on a 16 game average at 4K resolution, it managed to get 113 FPS average on high to ultra settings. Just below the RTX 4090, which is the best GPU on the market, but if you want the 4090, you will need to spend more than $2,000. However, I think the 7900 XTX is going to be enough for everyone. You do not need the RTX 4090, so if you have $2,000, you are getting the best gaming performance anyway. And on that same 16 game average at 1440p, you are getting an average of 180 FPS. However, for 1440p, I think the limit is the RX 7900 XT or the RTX 4070 Ti. So if you want a 1440p monitor, I do not recommend you spending $2,000 on your system. I recommend you spending less and saving that money, or spending in something else, because trust me, your eye will not be able to tell the difference between the 7900 XTX and the 7900 XT at 1440p resolution. If you want an Nvidia GPU, you can go with the RTX 4080, which is slightly worse at 4K resolution in terms of gaming performance, but it's going to be much better in terms of content creation. So if you're a professional content creator, the RTX 4080 will make sense for you, but it's going to be around $200 more expensive. Then for the case, we have the Montech Air 903 Max. This one has 4 pre-installed fans, 3 RGB fans on the front and 1 non-RGB fan on the back. That's why I also added an extra fan, the ID Cooling 120 fan on the back for 15 extra bucks. That way everything is RGB on the system, and if you do not like RGB, you can always turn it off. And last but not least, the power supply, we have the MSI MPG 850 watt 80 plus gold power supply. This is A-tier rated, really good quality, and it has enough wattage for our system. By the way, the most important part on a power supply is to make sure that our PC will not explode, so this will get the job done for sure. The total price for this system by the time that I'm recording this video is $1,980, but maybe when you're watching this it's more expensive, or maybe it's cheaper. That's why I do recommend you checking the latest prices in the video description. And if you're willing to spend a bit more, for 2,040 bucks, you can get the same exact system but with a different case. In the Lian Li Cool 3, this one has 3 RGB fans on the front, a grey front mesh panel, then I also added one extra RGB fan from Lian Li on the back, that way everything is matched. And the reason why I do recommend you doing this upgrade if you can is because this case has been tested before a bunch of times. The Montec Air is brand new. I'm sure it's great quality, but it hasn't been tested enough. That's why I do recommend you going with the Lian Li option if you can afford it, but if you don't want to spend the extra, don't worry about it, just go with the Montec case and you will be just fine. Now, the black version of this system is $1,990 and we get a CPU cooler that's black with RGB in the Thermalright Peerless Assassin 120, so basically the same cooler but in black. The memory kit, the same memory kit but in black once again, and then for the case we have the Deepcool CG560 with 3 pre-installed fans on the front, a front mesh panel which is going to be great for the airflow, and I also added one extra case on the back with RGB from Deepcool. That way, in order to control the lighting, you don't have to install 3 different softwares. Now, what if you want a Prebuilt PC and you don't want to build a PC yourself? Maybe you're too busy, or maybe you just don't want to go through the process of building it yourself. I completely understand that. In that case, I recommend you buying the Omen 40L. This one has the i7-13700K, and then you get the RTX 4070 Ti for the GPU. Now, it's not gonna be as good as the PC build I've just shown you. The reason being is because you spend more money and you get less performance with the 4070 Ti, which is more of a 1440p high FPS GPU, but you can also play at 4K with no issues. So if you really don't want to build it yourself, I believe this is your best option. But just so you know, if you build it yourself, you are saving money and you're getting better performance. But some people really want a Prebuilt PC, and that's why I am giving you this recommendation. Now, if you just want the best of the best and you want the RTX 4090 and you're willing to spend more money than $2,000, I recommend you watching my video about the best gaming PC builds of this month. You will have that video in the top right of the screen, and it's guaranteed that you will get a PC for your budget that fits your needs for gaming or content creation. If you have any questions about this PC build or just any PC build or Prebuilt PC on the market, let me know in the comment section. I will try to reply as fast as possible. Thank you guys for watching, thank you for the support, and I will see you on the next one.